Hey guys, F26 here, and welcome back to highlights of ILR for round 7 of the season here at Canada. As we come to finish our first qualifying lap, there's a car in the wall there, and a pretty nerve-wracking moment for me as I wasn't sure if he was going to go, so we still go and set the fastest time there. But yep, we didn't race Monaco as I explained in my Spain highlights because I was away for the weekend, but we're back here for round 7 around Canada, historically my most successful track in league racing, and we'll be hoping to continue the success here today. As you can see, coming towards the end of the session, we're still sitting on pole. We did improve on our first lap, but we're looking to improve again. We should be able to get into the 107s here as we navigate the first two corners pretty nicely. Could have been a bit better on the exit of turn 2 there, as we've absolutely nailed that chicane there, right on the white line through turn 3, and not taking too much curb on turn 4, as that can unsettle the car if you put the front left on the grass. We've done that chicane pretty well as well, running out nice and wide, but not touching the wall on the exit as we get on the DRS newly added for this year towards the final chicane in the middle sector. We could have been more aggressive on the curbs there, and a bit of oversteer on the exit as well, but nothing too major. Possibly a bit of time in there, but pretty good overall as we head down towards the hairpin. Crucial braking point here, down into first gear, get the car rotated, which we've done very nicely as we maximise the exit towards the final chicane here. DRS once again on this straight as we shift up through the gears into 8th gear now, and we'll be composing ourselves for the final chicane now. We've taken that pretty nicely, flown through the second part, not hit the wall of champions on the exit, which is crucial. Gets it pretty clean as well as we head straight to the line for a 1 minute 7.755, which surely will be enough for pole, and indeed it is, ahead of Pelzeri in second, Desvel in third, and my new teammate Dutchman, who actually appears to have racing ability in fourth. Because I'm an idiot, I didn't scroll down, but if you want to see the rest of the results, check them out by pausing it. But we're here in the race. As you can see, it's quite wet. There's also a bit of a monsoon coming, as you can see on the third thing at the top. Yep, that's descriptive. The third segment of the race. We're going to put the front wing up to 5, and then change the brake bias and the diff as well, just for a more wet and in general race friendly setup in comparison to what we were running in qualifying. We stuck with 8 ballast. It was a bit of a risk, but I thought I'd get away with it. I managed it in China reasonably well, and I was more comfortable running it around Canada than China, so we're going to stick with that. But we have the lights now. Can we get a good start in the rain? It's 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go here in Canada. And it's actually an incredible start for myself. Literally no wheel spin until we get to 4th gear, and I went full throttle there with a little bit of oversteer, and we've managed to keep the lead. It's a pretty short run down to turn 1 anyway, but still pretty good start for myself, and that's me remaining in P1 off the start, as we're going to ride on board for the entirety of the first lap just to see how treacherous the conditions are. You know they are treacherous when you're using the full wets, because the intermediates are usually pretty good even in heavy rain conditions, but clearly today the full wets were the tyres to go for. I don't think anyone's risked it on the intermediates. Sometimes it is worth the risk, but when you've seen the thunderstorm, I don't know what the correct word for it, but the thunderstorm monsoon sort of thing on the weather analysis on the grid, you're not going to be wanting to put on the intermediates, let's be honest. But we've managed to negotiate everything pretty well, spotting our braking points quite nicely, which is obviously not particularly difficult for me given I'm using the racing line, but the racing line's not particularly good in a lot of cases. But we've managed to negotiate the hairpin and get a reasonably nice exit. Traction is going to be crucial, even through the chicanes. You're using 3rd and 4th gear, but in the wet that's pretty slippery. There's no real high speed corners around this track. It's a lot of medium and slow speed corners as we now head towards the final chicane, and there we go. Too late on the brakes. We've just about managed to negotiate the chicane, but that's cost us a lot of time. As you can see, the McLaren of Dasfeld, who's jumped Pelzeri off the start, is going to have a look at us on the run down towards turn 1 on the start of the second lap, but he's not close enough. But yeah, just running in a bit too deep, and again into turn 1 a bit deep there. As we lock up the fronts, and this point I decided to change the brake bias to 55 from 57, I think, just to keep the fronts in check as we now head towards the end of lap 2. Are we going to spot the braking point properly this time for the final chicane? Indeed we do. We've done that pretty nicely actually, and that should be us across the line for what will hopefully be the fastest lap. And yeah, that's what more like it. We've got into the rhythm now. The change to the brake bias appears to have worked out nicely, and we should be well on our way. Hopefully we can get a bit of a gap from Desvel, not too much, but just enough so we're not under too much pressure. And as you can see by lap 4 we've done that. If you look at the track map, there's a huge gap back to my teammate Dutchman in 3rd. Desvel's pace is pretty impressive. I thought I was driving very well, and Desvel has managed to keep with us, but now we have a safety car. I'm not sure why. I think the safety car may have genuinely come out for the monsoon conditions here, and this has annoyed me because I had a huge gap ahead of Dutchman and which was crucial because I'm thinking that I'm going to have to put on another set of wets at some point. I'm not thinking that I'll be able to make these wets last to the intermediates, and that huge 8 or so second advantage that I did have over my teammate has now been wiped out, which I'll have to pull out again, which will not be as easy as it was off the start, especially as people will have got probably battle slightly less and maybe have more of a rhythm now. But we're going to stay on board for a bit behind the safety car because that gives us the opportunity to follow a car to see just how bad the conditions are. And as you can see, visibility is horrendous. Obviously the fact that I'm not using capture card doesn't help, but I think this does it justice pretty much. The camera, the safety when on the straights, you couldn't really see the safety car apart from the lights, and the camera has actually reflected it reasonably well for once. And as you can see there, just no grip following in behind, so we're just pulling off the racing line ever so slightly there. So yeah, I do think the safety cars come out for the wet conditions, but as we can see, skipping to lap number 7 now. I think the safety car will be coming in, and indeed it is so. This leaves me to lead the safety car restart, something I've not done since God knows when. I think it could be that one race I did in SRL around America on 2016, which was a long time ago. But yeah, we're leading the safety car restart, full wet conditions. I don't think I've ever done that before. And at this point I was thinking, I'm going to use the safety car. When the safety car goes in the pits, I'm going to go, because originally it will limit my throttle input so I won't get wheel spin, as it did there. And by the time I'm released, I'll be in a high enough gear that I won't get wheel spin. And it's worked out fantastic. We've got a great launch as we now head towards the final chicane, but we're too late on the brakes once again. We've gone in way too deep there. We've just about managed to get it stopped for the second part, jumping over the curb, slamming the throttle on the exit as we've managed to squeeze Dasfell out on the exit. We've now got Dutchman and Josu coming through on the McLaren driver, and we've managed to maintain the lead. Unfortunate for Dasfell, who's not been able to keep P2. I do apologise to him, because although I technically didn't do anything illegal, it wasn't nice what I did, and the fact that it was just an unfortunate position where I was very slow to the chicane due to outbraking myself. But yeah, it's Josu up into second, Dutchman up into third, and Dasfell down into fourth as we head into towards the end of the first sector here. And we've kept the lead, but it wasn't a particularly well, the original restart was very good, but then into the final chicane I sort of threw away an opportunity to maybe bolt and let the other guys behind me battle, but I still got a reasonable gap as we head towards the end of sector 2 now. Can we nail this chicane? Oh, we've done that very nicely. I just managed to get myself hooked up in a rhythm around this track very quickly, which hopefully will get Josu out of the 1 or 2 second window where I am aware that he's there and feeling the pressure, and I'm just able to drive around at the front without too much pressure from the Red Bull behind. But once again, tyre wear is going to be an issue on the rears around here, and the rain needs to dry up reasonably quickly if I'm going to be able to take this set of wets to the dry period, which has obviously now been helped by the fact that the safety cars come out, giving me a couple of laps under that. But we've gone deep into the chicane once again, having to go over the curb on the second part as we compromise our line, unwilling to go straight across it and probably get a penalty. And Josu is now alongside as we head across the line to start lap number 9 as we go side by side into turn 1. Am I able to hold it round the outside? Yes, I am. Having to go down to first for turn 2 there, but we've managed to get it stopped nicely, and that is us back, well, maintaining P1 there despite the mistake 2 laps in a row into the chicane as we now skip to the end of the lap. This time we're being nice and cautious, and we've managed to spot the braking point nicely into the chicane, and that is us up, well, that is us maintaining P1 nice and easily without any pressure from behind us. We do set the fastest lap on that occasion, so conditions coming to me as we almost cut turn 1 there, but managed to avoid it nicely. Not getting a penalty will be crucial tonight, and I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. I've got no warnings as it stands, so it's looking pretty good. So skipping a couple of laps later on to lap number 13, we've slid into the chicane once again. Josu's going to have a look. I think we've kind of blocked him off with our slide as we're going to run side by side on the run down towards turn 1 once again, but I think we are far enough ahead this time. Is he going to chuck it up the inside? Yes, he's gone for it, and he's banged wheels with me once again, but we've managed to hold the position through turn 2 and on the exit. But what I didn't mention, sorry, was at the time, I think I actually got a hit from Joss into the final chicane. If you look very closely, my car will jolt forward. I didn't put a slow motion in for this one, but I think he hit me, which caused me to go deep. I think I actually spotted the braking point quite well as we now head through on the next lap, and Josu is sticking in behind us there, but he's not able to get close enough. He might have missed the chicane actually, as we now skip on to the next lap once again into the final chicane. Can we get it stopped nicely? Yes, we can. And this time Josu has missed the chicane. It wasn't in the last lap. He's gone straight across it there. This time him missing his braking point and not me. And that is us maintaining P1, but he'll probably have a penalty for that. But as you can see, skipping on to lap number 18 here, grip is deteriorating on these tyres due to tyre wear, and we've done our best to keep Jossie behind for as long as possible. We're now having a look up the inside of turn 6, I think this is. We've managed to hold it on the inside, but I just don't think we have the traction on the exit, and indeed we don't. He's managed to get the cut back, and he's already pulled ahead of us as we head down the back straight here. A bit of lag as well, so we're not going to take any chances. We're going to pull him behind, and at this point I've decided that it's time to come in for the intermediates. These fullbacks are not providing me with the grip I need, partly because of the tyre wear. Jeff's agreeing with me. He's saying it's time for inters, and we will be flying into the pits at the end of this lap. Hopefully Josu stays out. Obviously Dutchman's my teammates behind me, so he can't come in. Hopefully Josu will stay out so we can get the undercut on both him and Dutchman. I do know that Jamie came in on the previous lap, so he was reasonably far behind, but if the inters do have a lot of grip and I'm struggling around on very warm wets, he could be pretty close to me on the pit exit as Josu continues on as we head into the pit lane here. Dasfell has followed me in with obviously Dutchman staying out, but I think this is the right call. Maybe last lap might have been a better call, but I didn't want to risk it as the leader. I'm not going to be setting what to do here, and the fact that we've now come in a lap later has allowed us to potentially get an advantage on Josu, whereas if we come in a lap previously he probably would have just followed us in. So where is Jamie going to be on the pit exit? He set the fastest lap despite coming in the pits, just showing how much quicker the intermediates are, but we have managed to maintain what will hopefully be a net P1, and we'll stay on board once again for the entirety of this lap as we need to get the tyres up to temperature. They look pretty grippy through that chicane, and I think at this point this is definitely the right call. Jamie's actually jumped Dasfell unless he was ahead anyway, which is possible. It's pretty close behind me, and this is what I can't really show on the highlights because it wouldn't be that interesting, so I can't do justice the pressure that I was under for the whole of that 10 or so laps on the wets, with Josu just sitting behind me and knowing that I can't make any mistakes or he'll just be able to pounce and go straight through. So it was a very pressurised race for me, given it's in the wet as well, where it's easy to make mistakes. As you can see, we're catching up to Womson already, so his wet's obviously going off like most of the fields. So yeah, I was pretty under pressure for a majority of this race. Is now teammates in the pits, and Josu has come in as well, so we're going to see if we are ahead of them. I'd hope to be, but it depends how much grip Josu has on those tyres. We should definitely be ahead of Dutchman as we nail the last chicane there and head towards the start-finish line. It may even be fastest lap for us actually, and indeed it is, despite coming out the pits, so I suspect Jamie will beat it. Yes, indeed he does, but we head through turn 1 into turn 2 and Josu is nowhere in sight, and we pulled off the strategical, I wouldn't say masterclass, but a good strategical call for once, and that's us back up into P1 as we now skip onto lap 24. We managed to keep Josu behind, but he's still very close behind me, putting the pressure on as we head into the hairpin. We've been hit into the hairpin by the Red Bull driver, and we've gone for a spin, and he's taken the lead there, and not very happy with that one, to be honest. Originally I thought it was desync because I didn't think that he'd actually hit me because the proximity arrow wasn't red, but he has told me that it wasn't desync and that he did in fact drive into me and didn't wait, so I'm not particularly pleased with that one. But on a couple of laps later he's missed the final chicane, so that may well be another penalty for him, as we're closing on him rapidly as we now skip to the end of lap number 28. We're close as we head into the final chicane, closing up a lot through the chicane. Are we going to have the exit that we need? Not quite. Dasfell's right in behind us as well. I think Josu does have a bit of wing damage, which is, I guess, karma for hitting me off. And we now need to look to find our way through on the Red Bull driver. We need to get a good exit out of the hairpin, basically. And that's the only real overtaking opportunity. I'm not going to risk it into anywhere else. Turn 1 maybe if we get a good enough run through the final chicane, but look, he's just understeered through the first sector chicane there. We're all over the back of him as we head down towards turn number 6. Now he's going defensive, and he's blocked off a line there, which was entirely fair. Nothing wrong with that piece of driving from him, as we're now having a look once again in the spray, but we're nowhere near close enough for this very, very light braking zone anyway as we head through the chicane. But we are much more confident, obviously, probably due to the fact that we do have a bit more downforce on the car as we head head down towards the hairpin once again. Are we going to be close enough into the hairpin? I think he's outbraked himself. Indeed he has. We're going to have a look up the inside, which will probably be a bad decision because he's going to have a better exit with the wide line. But he's had an oversteer moment through the little kink there, and we're now alongside as we head down towards the final chicane. Here we're using the overtake ERS and the rich mix, as we've got Dasfeld having a look on the Red Bull as well. Joshy tries to pull in behind us, which is very dangerous given the desync on this game. We're going to go side by side through the final chicane. Great respectful racing from both of us there, as we've left each other the space, and we've hopefully managed to get it done. There's a bit of contact on the exits, and my car went for a bit of a squirm on the straight as we head down towards turn 1 now. Is he going to be able to outbrake us on the inside? He's gone in way too deep there. We've gone for the cutback, and we're going to claim the apex for turn number 2. And that is us up into P1 and hopefully for good here on the start of lap number 30. And indeed it was. Lap 35 rolls around here, and the track's dried out quite significantly, but not quite enough for dries. It wasn't worth coming in. DRS is probably about to get enabled about now, so even if there was another lap I wouldn't have come in. It's probably quicker to stay out on what were very worn intermediates by the end, but it's another win for us. Canada has been usually nice hunting ground for me, and it is once again today a win here in ILR Tier 2, my second win of the season and the first repeat winner of the season. And there we are on the podium. Due to the penalties, it all got shaken up. Everyone got a penalty apart from me. It's Jamie who actually managed to take second, and Midsey, championship leader, continuing his strong form in third. But yeah, what a race that was. The highlights can't really do it justice, but the pressure I was under for a majority of that race was immense, and congrats and GG to everyone else. I watched the stream back. It was an incredible race. The tricky conditions making it that bit more interesting, and yeah, it's a win for me. I don't know what the championship standings are yet. I haven't updated them, but I imagine I move up quite a few places. Probably still quite far behind Midsey and Chris, but it's good progress as we head towards the next race. Results on screen now. I can't tell you them because I can't remember what the penalties did, but yeah, there they are. Check the fastest laps, by the way. They're unbelievably close for everyone. But yeah, that's been it for today. It's a break week next week, so the next ILR video will be in about 2 weeks around France. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.